Hello, I hope that you enjoyed the first video. Um, we're going to something a bit less colorful than Albania, let's say, or less interesting, in my opinion. And we're going to a small principality stuck between Spain and France. And no, I haven't done any audit work or any investigation in this nation, but I've been there, as far as I can tell, at least twice. And we go as far as I can tell in a bit of a different way, a bit into the video. So, mostly known for now being a football team, also participating in the UEFA competitions. Andorra is mostly a ski resort place in the Pyrenees, and it's also known for having a very low taxation. So that might have been a tie with some investigation. They have, I think, one of the lowest VATs in the whole Europe. The country is officially not part of the European Union, but the borders are relatively laxed, and people go there to mostly ski or buy alcohol, tobacco, and other stuff. So going into a bit, and you'll see here the map, relatively stuck between Spain and actually the Catalan region, and here the southern part of France. The first time that I've been there was with my parents in back in the 90s. And the reason why we went there, I don't actually know anymore. I know that, or I actually do know why. My father wanted to buy GPS for the car. At the time, these were something, this was late 90s or beginning of 2000s. I cannot recall anymore. At the time, these were expensive in Portugal, and we were doing a road trip where we went through Madrid and then to Barcelona, and then we wanted to visit this small place. It was probably around summertime, so it was not cold that I remember. But I what I do know is that when we went to buy the GPS, the prices were very similar to the ones in Portugal, if not more expensive. Uh, Actually, this was the time that all the electronics were beginning to have the same price everywhere. And the only reason then to be there was alcohol and tobacco. And my parents did not smoke anymore at that time, neither drank. So it was a peculiar trip. Uh, I don't remember much more than that. We just went in and out in the same day, so never even slept there. And we just went to Andorra la Vella, so the capital. I didn't go any further. The second time is a bit more interesting because I was going to Germany by car, and this time we decided to make a road trip with my buddies. And at the time we had Suzuki Vitara. That's the car that we were driving, or that I was driving at the time. So you see that here in the picture. Um, and we were the three of us, and I was mainly driving. And we decided that we wanted to do stop in the first night, I think, in Zaragoza, and we slept there, and out of from Lisbon to Zaragoza. And then the second day we wanted to sleep somewhere in France. I'll take that for a later occasion. But what struck us is that at the time all of us smoked, and we wanted to also look at some, if we could buy any cheap stuff in Andorra. So we went through Spain here, through this the the road here that goes from Zaragoza, and or this one, I'm not sure anymore. Let me just check. So we came from Lleida, no, we came from Zaragoza, so probably here through Lleida, and then we went through here. We bought our cigarettes. I mean, at the time, a lot of stores look like this in Andorra. This is not. It was something that I just brought on the internet, but this was your average store there in the center, or especially closer to the borders. And then we decided that we were going out through Paz de la Jaza, here, the French border. And although it was early June, I think, or mid June, the weather was quite bad at the time. And for some reason, the border doesn't look like that anymore. But we decided to go through here. We didn't get stopped by the French police. There was some kind of a tunnel that I remember, and then I forgot to tank the car. And this is also something that people do because tanking was or the gasoline was cheaper in Andorra than it is in Spain, where it's already relatively, or it's already cheaper than in Portugal, but it was cheaper than in France for sure. And then I didn't have so much gas, and then we went through this road here that I remember, and trying to get a place for getting gas here in this part was definitely an issue. And then it started raining, and there was um, some horrible weather, and I was beginning to get a bit desperate with my colleagues. But finally, or with my friends, but finally we did find a place there. I'm sure I've been to Andorra more times than this too, but these are, I think, the only two that are memorable. In the end, we reached a nice, well, not a nice place. We ended up driving the whole night in France and just sleeping at the beach in Nice or Antibes or something. Here in the already in this part, so we did drive significantly long. So it did end up. I ended up, I mean, not trying to go a lot to France, but on that trip, we had established that we wanted to go in the third day to Milan, where we actually did sleep there. And here, I mean, I just drove the whole night and I was feeling tired and I just threw up a couple of times, like here in crossing the border here into Monaco. But we did manage to sleep, or I did manage to sleep a bit at the beach. And I'm not really sure anymore if it was in Antibes or in Saint Jean Cap Ferrat or somewhere else. There are pictures of this, but they are with one of my friends. So this was back in 2005, maybe. And I don't have them, so pity. But that was it for Andorra. I think the next one would be much more interesting with Angola. There are finally a bit of interesting investigation topics beside Angola being, for many, especially if you're not from Portugal, kind of a weird country. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm not making it for views or anything, just keeping it to myself and remembering stuff. But yeah, if you're watching, thanks for that. Bye bye.